I'm glad we both came up with a cliche question.
That was so funny. When you said that, I was like, seriously?
Hello and welcome to Book Reshorts. I'm Sam.
I'm Danielle.
And in lieu of our regularly scheduled weirdness, today we'll be doing a Thanksgiving-specific episode short because, frankly, we have lives too, despite all evidence to the contrary.
And we're thankful.
Yes, we're very thankful. Also that's the real reason. We're thankful to take a break. So actually, during this holiday season, we'll be slowing our schedule down through the end of the year and only doing full episodes every other week and having these fun little shorts in between. So don't worry, we'll be back to our regular schedule come January. But for now, just enjoy our weird half vacation, I guess.
Excellent phrasing.
Danielle, sometimes the words, they just come to me, and it's like a muse is speaking through me.
A drunk muse.
Well, that is very appropriate for our episode today, which is all about media ideas we are thankful for, what media things we are thankful for. Since we are a media podcast, we thought we'd share some questions that we're going to ask each other about what media concepts or whatever you're thankful for. It's, what? We're on vacation almost. Let's just roll with it.
It's already there. Sam's brain is already on vacation.
Oh, man, you have no idea. So you're all very lucky. You're only getting half as much this winter as you normally get for the rest of this year, because more of this is probably not what you want to have.
Because I think everybody's done in the entire world.
Yeah, we all need a break. And as much as I love putting my weirdness out there, clearly my brain is just no good no more.
It's too weird.
It's too weird.
Max capacity of weirdness.
Well, since I have started us down this path, Danielle, I think I should ask you first what you're thankful for. And my first question is, what rom-com cliche are you most thankful for?
Sorry. That was one of my questions, very similar to that.
Oh, no.
No, well, it's funny. I've got
Danielle,
backups.
Okay, great. Well, I'm glad you do, because I thought, what is a perfect question for Danielle?
It is. That's why I wrote it down.
You wrote it down for yourself,
but
not for me.
I wrote it more
great.
generically for you, so.
Okay, well, great.
Okay, so I'm tied. I am tied on my rom-com tropes.
Yeah, sure.
Can you guess what one of mine is? Because it's pretty obvious.
I mean, if it's a love triangle, I would be upset.
It's totally love triangle.
Yeah, all right.
And I also really like the stuck together trope where people are like
trapped in a room together, or have to work together.
Whatever happens, they have to be around each other a lot. I get a kick out of that.
I bet you do.
But yes, love triangles. I know they're not well liked by 50% of the population, but I'm here for the other 50%.
They're not well liked by 50% of hosts on this podcast.
I represent the other 50%. I hear you.
Yes, you do. All right. Well, you know what? That's fine. I have nothing against them, and I appreciate you standing up for those people and yourself.
What tropes are you most thankful for? This is not a question. I'm just asking it back, but more generically so that you can...
I have one for rom-coms. My favorite is, what I'm most thankful for is the mistaken identity trope in rom-coms. Like in While You Were Sleeping with the guy in the coma, and everyone's like, oh, you must be his wife or girlfriend.
See, that drives me crazy because I don't like miscommunication, which is a lot of rom-coms.
Which is weird because you love rom-coms.
I know, but I just put up with the miscommunication plot lines, and that falls kind of... I don't mind it, but it's like, it's akin.
I think it's really like... No, I love it because it's so dumb. You just say one word and clear this whole thing up, but no, let's have this whole, long thing. Even like You've Got Mail has that kind of as well. So, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I do like You've Got Mail, see?
Well, I'm glad we're all thankful for some part of rom-coms.
Me too.
All right, what do you got for me?
Okay, what MacGuffin are you most thankful for?
Oh, boy, that's a tough one, because there's some real good MacGuffins out there.
You can mention multiple. I won't stop you.
Okay, I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Philip Pullman's Dark Materials. You know that. I gotta say, I really like the things in that, the MacGuffins, the Amber Spyglass, the Golden Compass, the Solid Knife. Those I think they're not quite MacGuffins because they actually have real important work in the story, but I think they count because the bad people want them and the good people want them and are trying to keep them away from them. So it's like the quest item.
It's
so
true. They drive the plot forward.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to count them. And I thought those were really interesting MacGuffins. I'm most thankful for those.
That's totally fair. You do really like that series. I do as well, but you particularly like it.
Yeah, I read at the right age and it sort of stuck with me and I found it very interesting. I still do enjoy it.
Absolutely.
All right, Danielle, your turn. What's your MacGuffin that you're most thankful for?
I mean, I like lots of them, but I think
it's hard to choose. There's so many.
It's a hard question. I do think the one I'm most fond of is the Maltese Falcon, which is where I learned about them, and it was a movie. So
highbrow.
Yeah, it was a movie I watched with my family when I was fairly young, probably 11 or something, and that was kind of where I learned the concept of the MacGuffin. So it's stuck with me throughout the years. You
reminded me of the Pink Panther movie.
Oh yeah,
where the MacGuffin is literally a joke, and that's fun. And then for the rest of the movie, the series, the Pink Panther, whatever Returns, I forget the rest of the titles, but the sequels, the actual MacGuffin, the Pink Panther, is not in those movies. So I always enjoyed that fact.
Trivia. It's a trivia podcast.
Yeah. All right. I got another one for you that I think you're going to like.
Okay.
So what horror movie cell phone usage, or lack thereof, are you most thankful for?
Oh, goodness. That's really hard.
Yeah, we all know that horror movies, a lot of their plots could be solved in about 5 minutes if people use their cell phones like human beings would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like more modern day cell phone movies.
Well, I know you like to watch horror movies every fall in Halloween time, so I thought maybe there'd be one that you watched recently that had some particularly interesting cell phone usage.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some more modern ones. I've done a lot of the classics, and I haven't done nearly as many of the modern, though I have gotten through some of the major ones that have come out throughout the years. I can think of a TV show that is horror adjacent.
That counts. We're loosey-goosey here.
Okay. This is a TV show that's horror adjacent. It's not really horror so much as it's kind of like funny horror. But
look, this is our Thanksgiving vacation episode, Danielle. We're not going to be sticklers here.
I'm going to argue that Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, has like... It goes well into the cell phone age, especially towards the later seasons. It runs, like 7 seasons? And they do not use cell phones nearly enough. Like, all of their problems could be resolved if they just picked up a cell phone. Even the earlier seasons, cell phones existed.
That's fair. And you thought that maybe someone who's hunting vampires and other demons might invest in a communication device.
Yeah, you would think so, because many an episode. You like the Hush episode? They could just text each other.
Well, way to ruin a classic then.
Well, no, it's a great episode. I'm not disparaging it in any way, but yeah, texting would have solved some of those issues.
Well, that's a good choice. I mean, well done.
Thank you. What about you? Have you watched enough horror movies?
Hey, I've watched plenty. And I gotta say, my favorite is probably Scream.
Oh, I almost picked Scream. That was the first one that came to mind.
Yeah, because I really like how the villains are the ones using the cell phones in that case to like make the calls and get people to run around.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought that was a very clever use of cell phones in a horror movie that acknowledged they exist. And it was just at that time where they weren't so common that they could pull it off and still be kind of like surprising about it.
Yeah, that's true. That was literally the first thing I thought of because I love Scream. It's one of my favorite
It's a great
movies.
One. Yeah.
Good one, Sam.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. This is not quite as silly of a question because you stole my trope question.
Oh, well, you know, I'm a scamp.
What movie line are you most thankful for?
Oh, see, that's hard because there's so many great ones.
I know. It was really hard.
I mean, the first thing that came to mind was Die Hard with the line I cannot repeat on this podcast with family. But that's a classic. I also really enjoy how, like, a movie line like from Star Wars where he says, "No, I am your father," is always sort of misconstrued as Luke, "I am your father," because it gives it more context, which is good if you're quoting it out of context as a reference.
Contextual quotes.
Yeah, that's great. I like how, like, movie quotes will change in the, zeitgeist to better fit being a reference as opposed to what they actually sound like in the full context of the scene. So
I like that. I'd never really thought about why it changed, and I love that explanation of it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, because you say, "Luke, I'm your father," people know, oh, you must be talking about Star Wars because of Luke and everything. Now that everyone knows where it's from, it's obvious, but I'm assuming it started at a point where not everyone in the universe had seen Star Wars.
Yeah. That's a good one and good explanation.
What about your favorite quote?
This is like pulling deep, but one of my favorites, it's a childhood favorite, and we use it a lot in my family. And just around, I say it to people who have no idea what I'm talking about. It's from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which is one with Kevin Costner and Alan Rickman.
I know that one, and I'm disappointed it won't be featured on this podcast unless we have a guest on who hasn't seen it.
And it's Guy of Gisborne. He says, "Why a spoon, cousin?" And we use it all the time because every time you grab silverware out of a drawer, like it's easy to insert. And then Alan Rickman's like deadpan line. He's like, "Because it's dull, you twit. It'll hurt more."
Alan Rickman was a treasure.
It's so good. So we use that one a lot.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. All right. My final question for you on what you're most thankful for in media, Danielle, is what weird character death are you most thankful for?
Oh, goodness.
I know.
Character death.
Like, what character died in a way that you're like, I'm glad I saw that. Or like very satisfying or something.
Actually, one of the ones that I would think of actually ties into one of my questions. Maybe I can think of another one. It's not the same question. It's just kind of akin to it.
I gotcha.
God, there's so many characters when they die. It's a really satisfying experience, which sounds terrible psychologically.
Well, I mean, we are humans, and humans are terrible things, so I get it.
It's hard to have to like go through your memory bank of
there's just so
dead
many to
characters.
choose from.
Okay, actually, it's not that I'm thankful for it. I just think it's super well done, and I think about it a lot. And you just
thankful for the craft
me.
Of it.
Yeah,
that counts.
Is from Scream, actually.
Oh, here we back to that old
spoiler alert,
chestnut.
everybody! Just if you've never seen Scream, this is in the first like 20 minutes, but I'm just warning you. I think the scene of Drew Barrymore when she is attacked by the Ghostface after she is on the phone with them, and she is crawling across the front yard, and her parents are coming home, and she's trying to call for them, but she's already been like her throat's been slashed, and she can't call to them. It is heartbreaking, and it's like terrifying, and it's hard to watch, and it's like it's such a good opening to that movie. Like it's such a good death scene, and terrible, but so good to watch.
That's one to be thankful for. That is an excellent movie death. It's not good for the character, but it's an excellently made movie death.
Yeah. So I wasn't like glad she died, but I was very glad that it was done the way it was done.
You can be thankful for it in whatever way you want, Danielle. Again, these are for you to interpret.
What about you, Sam?
I gotta say, one of the movie deaths I kind of love the most this doesn't make any sense way is in The Shining. When the janitor guy that I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the one who like identifies Danny as like having the Shining, and he leaves, and Danny like calls him psychically to come save them. He just walks into the hotel after this huge epic journey to get there in the middle of the winter and just gets an axe through the chest and is like useless. I kind of love that. I'm like,
that's a good one.
That's an interesting choice that you took this character who was so integral and made this huge effort and just like, nah, you're dead. You don't matter.
I remember watching that and being like, oh my gosh.
Like, why did you do that?
And that's not quite how the book goes, too.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm thankful that was there, and it gave me such a weird surprise that I've been thinking about off and on, ever since seeing that movie.
I actually have one more. You're right. It reminded me of it when you were talking about surprise deaths.
Okay, go for it.
Deep Blue Sea.
Yes.
Again, spoiler alert. When is it Samuel L. Jackson? Is that his name?
Yes.
And he's doing his big speech about how they're going to be fine. They're totally going to overcome the sharks, and then the shark comes up and eats him.
Oh, it's so good. You know what? That's a really good answer, Danielle.
It's a good one. I watched that for the first time like 2 a.m. in college in a dorm with my dorm mate, and I was dying. I was laughing so hard.
Well, this has been a very fruitful question. Disturbingly so, because it's about character deaths, but
that's a really good question, though.
All right, hit me with your last one, Danielle.
Okay, what bad guy's downfall by monologuing are you most thankful for?
They're all so good, Danielle. All right. I mean, I could just say every Bond villain, but that's just a cop-out. I gotta go with like a RoboCop, I think.
Okay.
Because, he's in there, the OCP, and then he gets blasted out, and he's like falling, and his hands look really weird. It's great.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, and also RoboCop it's a really smart movie for a very dumb movie, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've watched that, but I remember enjoying it.
It's a dumb action movie, but it got like a really clever bit of satire, and it's I mean, that's nothing new. That's not a clever observation by me that everyone knows that, but I just think it's a really great movie anyway, so.
Isn't this the second time you've mentioned that on the podcast?
RoboCop?
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay, well, I mean, it's a movie that exists in my brain, so I wouldn't be surprised. What about you? What movie monologue are you most thankful for?
I kind of have two. One's more just like for comedy value, and the other one was just satisfying death. Mm-hmm. That's what was related earlier when I said.
Actually, I want to make a quick change. Sorry, I just thought of this. Speaking of Bond movies, I kind of like the I'm Invincible from GoldenEye, and then immediately Frozen. Yeah. Just got to put that out there.
That's a good one. That's totally a good one. A lot of Bond deaths are pretty satisfying.
Yeah, exactly.
And amusing.
All right, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt. Continue.
So, for me, I think one of the satisfying deaths is the scene in Princess Bride where Count Rugen dies.
Yes.
And he's like trying to kill Inigo Montoya, and then he just monologues it so long while fighting him that eventually Inigo's like, you know what? No.
I'm going to stab you anyway because I can. That's a good one.
He like draws power from how long this guy is monologuing.
It's a classic blunder.
It is. And then I think for comedy value, one of my favorites is Syndrome from The Incredibles.
Oh, but yeah, of course. You've got me monologuing, you sly dog.
I know, it's like very on the nose, but then I love that he has the cape, and they clarify earlier that you shouldn't have costumes with capes, and then he gets sucked into the jet.
That's a great movie too. I mean, that's a really good movie, so all great choices. Well, I don't know about you, Danielle, but I feel a lot of thankfulness right here in this podcast right now. I am thankful for all those things we talked about, plus the fact that we are here making the show for our lovely listeners. We're thankful that you're there listening, and I hope that you all had a lovely and safe holiday season, whatever that might entail for you.
Absolutely.
And thankfully, you'll be back to listen to us again for more nonsense, probably.
Hopefully.
Unless you're just like done with this now. Like, no, I think that was enough for me.
This is the last straw. I don't want to be thankful for anything.
Or like this is the first episode they ever listened to about our podcast. Like, this podcast isn't for me.
Well, if I would say if this is your first episode you've ever listened to, you should also give one of our longer episodes a shot.
One of our real episodes a shot, not one of our vacation half-baked episodes.
Our Book Reshorts.
Yeah, our Book Reshorts. We love our Book Reshorts, but they are not representative of our thrust of our main content.
Yeah, I am also thankful for our amazing listeners and this podcast. It's super fun to do, and I love doing it. And obviously, during the holiday season, I'm also always thankful all year round for family and friends. And
of course,
we're also thankful for the wonderful podcast community who's been super supportive of a new podcast.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, amazing. And I'm actually going to be on a podcast, I think, next week with I Drink Your Podcast, which is amazing. You guys should check it out.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, and they do movies from 2007, only 2007.
I love that. That's such a great idea.
And so I'm going to be on their episode of Southland Tales, which is a 2007 movie with an all-star cast. So we'd recommend that you check them out regardless, whether or not you want to actually listen to just me.
Well, if you want to listen to Danielle without me, like you said, I like Danielle, but I've had enough of that Sam character. This is your opportunity, so take it.
And you get to meet all of them as well, and they're awesome folks. So
absolutely. So definitely check that out. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Danielle, for being my host, and thank our listeners for sitting through our shorts. And until next time, bye.
Take care, everybody. You know my brain.
Unfortunately, I do.
Very strong knowledge of how my brain works.
Getting stronger with every episode.
Learning things you never knew you didn't know.
What? I didn't catch that.
You heard it.
I heard it. I didn't catch it.
It was a great sentence.
Learning things you never know you didn't know.
Never knew you didn't know.
All right. Well, that tense change makes all the difference.
It does. Thank you.
Two sentences diverge within a woods, and I chose the tense less traveled, and that made all the difference.
Story of my life.